You can hire someone on demand, which is qualified for the job, but is not actually on your payroll. And this is something incredible we're doing. So think about that. You can hire someone in our platform, okay, for 1 day. And we call it try before you buy.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumi, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Hello, and welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Today, I have with me Nir Gold, co-founder and CEO at Deeb. Before starting Deeb, Nir was a project manager for several startups, then later decided to transition into business development roles. He was humbled to get the opportunity to work at Pearl-Cohen Law Firm as an investment banker, where he launched an initiative to make better connections between startups and investors. A year ago, Nir was reminded of an old idea he had that started out as a small initiative in the field of employment that later grew and evolved into Deeb. The idea to fundamentally change the way employment is perceived and the way people think about employment in the 21st century. Nir Gold, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
Well, I'm excited to be here. And I heard a lot about you, so it's exciting.
Thank you.
Step.
Thank you very much for joining me. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And Nir, are you calling from the Deeb offices
pleasure.
right now?
That's true. We're in Deeb office in Tel Aviv. We're based in the center of Tel Aviv, so it's an exciting place to be.
Very cool. I love it. I think we might just be a few streets away right now, but I'm excited to still do this the way we're doing it nevertheless. Nir, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get deep into Deeb.
So basically, I'm 27 years old. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Deeb. My background, I started as a combat soldier in Maglan unit. Right after my service, I found myself in my first startup, which was by coincidence. I became a project manager in a failing startup, and in this startup, actually, I realized that the business realm is sometimes more important than the product itself. I saw many startups in my life that they're focusing, on the product, and they're really product-oriented or tech-oriented, but they're not focusing on the business side. So right after that, after this chapter in my life, I jumped into the business world, which I started my, let's call it my business development career, which I served in several companies. And right after that, I got my chance and my opportunity to join the Pearl-Cohen Law Firm as an investment banker, which was like my biggest jump in the business realm. And actually, this is the first time I felt and learned about the venture capital world, and that was exciting, to be honest. I mean, I helped with my old boss. I helped to connect lots of startups into VCs and investors, and that was exciting.
So from product management to investment associate to now co-founder and CEO, how do you explain those changes?
Well, my mother said I have a lot of luck in my life, so I don't know. I would say it's about opportunities. You need to seize the moment, and you can't afraid. I mean, sometimes things might look, too big for you, but you just need to, keep on. And one of my biggest things that actually I must learn now is that something one of my old mentors said is it's called TTP, which means trust the process. and just need to believe in that and focus on that, and just
Very, very cool.
that's basically what I would say.
So it's not just the jumps from the titles that are different, but it's also the sectors, right? So you went from
Yeah.
being a project and operation manager at Hebrew Scouts movement in Israel, another PM before that, to going to a law firm and doing investment banking, but now looking at an employment marketplace. How do you land in the employment marketplace sector, especially targeting the Israeli market?
So I would say that the Israeli market is just our first step. That's first thing to understand. We started in Israel because we are Israelis, so it's easier to start here, but we definitely aim for a bigger market abroad. But I would say that to understand the job market, you don't necessarily have to be, I don't know, from an HR company or an HR position. Because the biggest crisis the economy facing today is Gen Z won't fit into the job market. That's the biggest crisis. And to understand that, I would say that if you're not part of the Gen Z, it will be really hard for you to understand the problem. So what I will proudly say is that most of the employees in our company are young. So it's easier for them to understand the next generation of the job market.
And in your mind, what is this next generation of the job market that you're describing here?
So, listen, we are Gen Z, okay, and our generation works differently. And our generation demands flexibility and not willing to compromise on work-life balance. And if someone won't understand that, it will be really hard for them to hire people. So that's the first thing people need to understand. And there are many things that just work differently for this generation. For instance, they have different needs. As I said before, they demand work-life balance. They don't want to live their entire life in their jobs. They want to fulfill themselves. They want flexibility. They want to have the ability to choose what and where they're doing that. And this generation actually, they grew differently than how, Gen Y and X actually were raised as when they were kids. So that is a fundamental change. It's fundamental thing that works differently for them. And they have different methods that they grew up as kids, and they brought that into their work life.
Right. Now, as
And
you're
this is why they
thinking
work differently.
through, if you're thinking through Deeb as an employment marketplace for Generation Z, and you're thinking through the different, user behaviors and consumer behaviors that are shaping the world now, how are you going about systematically implementing those within Deeb? So how do you know even how to prioritize these changes and how the product is going to look down the line?
It's a hard question. I'll be honest. If you ask me how Deeb will look like, I don't know, in 10 years from now, and how the job market will look in 10 years from now, it will be really hard to answer that. I think the most important thing is that people need to remember that the opposite of breakable is flexible. Okay, so we have to be flexible in everything we do. This is how actually I manage the company. So everything we do here is flexible. We are hiring, our hiring process is flexible. Our methods are more flexible than what most of the companies are doing. And I think all the employers, or the future employers, have to adopt this flexible method. And Deeb basically was founded to enable, a straightforward and smooth transition to this new marketplace for both employers and employees, and enabling both of the sides this flexibility. And this is actually the main thing we're doing here. We believe that the key element is flexible.
And so, how does flexibility actually come into play from a product perspective? So, if we're looking to empower the flexibility of the new employees and the way that we are interacting with our world and our work-life balance, what is the now? So if that is the shift in consumer behavior, I mean, how is this now being translated into an app that will help me as a Gen Z new employee, have that interaction with my work?
So basically, Deeb is a shift on demand network because we don't believe in a full-time job. We don't believe in a 9 to 5 job. And Generation Z is thinking the same. And we know that, because we studied this thing and we interview, I think, more than thousands of young people. And most of them want this flexibility. So it's not that they're lazy. They're not lazy. They want to work. They want to work differently. And this is why there's a huge gap between, let's call it the old employers to the future employees. And we're trying to, bridge this gap by enabling this. Our platform is here to enable that, and we're helping them to communicate differently. Our product, as I said before, it's a shift-on-demand network. We're giving the opportunity to employers to divide the concept of job into small shifts, into micro shifts, and then they can hire as many people as they like, but with how do I say that? Easier way to hire them, and everything is more simple. We're simplifying all the process. We're simplifying all the concept of hiring and simplifying the obligation from both sides.
The simplification on the employer side. Talk to me about that, because you not only have to give a good experience for the employee, but you also have to adjust for the employer's needs to add flexibility, which oftentimes translates into complexity for the employer, right?
True. I will say first that we need to understand that there's a shift in power, and we can see, the big resignation now in the States, or how people call it, the big quit. So employees today, first of all, employers need to understand that employees have more power than they used to have in the past. That's the first thing. But, and I'm saying but, we don't want to say, this is the situation and you have nothing to do. So we got some inspiration actually from the IDF, and the inspiration came from a very unexpected place, and it's called the reserve unit.
Okay.
So if you think about the concept of reserved unit in the IDF, it's incredible.
How so?
Because you can hire people, because you can hire someone on demand, which is qualified for the job, but is not actually on your payroll. And this is something incredible we're doing. So think about that. You can hire someone in our platform, okay, for 1 day. And we call it try before you buy. So you can try him first. And if this match is not good enough, and to be honest, it doesn't matter for this matter, it doesn't matter why, but if it doesn't work, you can just go and that's okay. But if there's a click, if there's a match, it's a good match, you can, add this guy to your, let's call it your favorite Deebers. And now you can call him again. But again, it's not on your payroll. You can hire him again, as I said, it's shift on demand network. So you can hire him again and again and again, and you can call him. You don't, say, go tomorrow. You can say, I need someone tomorrow, and you have, 20 people on your reserve. And if someone can, he will join. And you can create this, huge pool of people who are qualified for the job. You already hire them once. You know them. They know you. and it's not a new match. It's someone it's part of your company.
Right. What's going to be the hardest part of this journey in your mind? So, this company is 10 months old. You're moving quickly, a lot of new experiences, looking to disrupt the market. You're
True.
understanding the Gen Z mindset, and you're saying, wow, like we need to change the way we deal with employment, and we create this, bi-conditional contract that right now both sides are losing at. What's going to be the hardest part for you, do you think? Both perhaps you as, the co-founder and CEO, but also in terms of just the company being able to really do what it wants to do.
Wow. So there are many, many difficulties. You can look at that in the market perspective, and I would say that it's really hard to explain, people about a new concept. So that's really, really hard. And our marketing team and sales department working really hard on that matters. And from the company perspective, our growth is incredible. I mean, as you said, the company is really young, and in 3 months we became from 5 employees into 35 employees.
Wow.
And it's incredible here to, it was a rapid growth. And I have to be honest, sometimes it might be really hard to, to maintain this, it's like a kid who's growing really fast, and you need to are you okay? What to do with you? And so I would say to put the focus on the right things, and to keep, to assemble the team. That was hard, but also to help them work together and align together for this mission. And the mission is to actually, I can say changing the world. It will be a cliche, but it's not just changing the world. It's helping millions of people, because they can't do what they want now. They can't live the life they want to live, and this is what we're trying to give them.
Did you choose to be an entrepreneur? Did it choose you? Did you choose this problem? Did you face it yourself? How do you get to start this company?
So, as I mentioned before, I worked in Pearl-Cohen as an investment banker. And my co-founder Itai one day called me and said that he has an idea for a startup, and I was his startup guy, his go-to guy to the tech scene. And we started working together on that, and it was really hard to find a good business model that works for this old product. And after I think a month or two, I just said, listen, we can't figure it out. But I have an old idea. I'll send you a presentation and tell me what you think. Because I had a lot of fun to work with him, and it was the same from his side. So, and then I think it was around 6 or 7 a.m. He just called me and say, listen, the presentation is shit, but I love the concept. We have something to work on. And this is how we started that, actually. And this, basic concept we had almost a year ago, in no time became a company. And that's, I don't know if it chose me or I chose that. It just happened.
Wow. Nir, I want to thank you for coming here. I think that it's very fresh what you're doing, and I think that it may be hard to understand for some people. You're literally taking an employment phenomenon that's been around for thousands of years, and rethinking the employee-employer relationship, and how do we create a win-win situation in a world where we have a new generation that is very equipped to make a good impact on businesses, but maybe it's not in the traditional 9 to 5, 9 to 6 job. Maybe it's more on the on-demand, this shift in the way that we're thinking, and creating a win-win for everybody. And I think that the flexibility that you're mentioning is a pivotal role here. So Nir, thank you very, very much for coming here. I really appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you.
And best of luck with Deeb.
I'll try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.